دكتور نبدأ بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Good morning everyone. Welcome to session number 16 of ACID 22 conference. I am Dr. Ahmed Shahata and I will be chairing this session which will run from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. There will be 11 talks and every speaker will have up to 10 minutes for their presentations. And at the end of each presentation, I will open the opportunity for questions. In this session, we have different papers. The first one, which I don't think is, the presenter is not here with us now, state-of-the-art smart doorbell system. But we will skip this paper for now because the presenter is not here, it's not ready yet. We will move to retention contracts under hidden. Actually, we have Dr. Magdi, credit card theft using social engineering over WhatsApp, a survey study. Can you please, Dr. Magdi, share your screen with us?
Yes, okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, I can see it. You can start, please.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Majdi Kabalin, cybersecurity expert and a master degree student in Prince May University, working as a consultant with multiple firms around the globe in cybersecurity. My experience related to cybersecurity. Today, I will present a case just happened in the last 2 years in Jordan related to credit card theft and fraud process done using WhatsApp along the country. And actually, it was targeting politicals, financial employees, doctors in universities, and significant peoples. So today I will segment my presentation for 5 segmentations: introduction and physio analysis, description, technical analysis, and statistical analysis, and last, the conclusion. As we all know, social engineering is considered as one of the most critical threats to security and people privacy nowadays, which is general verbal or written interaction that happens between a person and an institution, usually in an attempt to manipulate, convince, or deceive the other party. In most cases, it occurs over the phone or in person and often relies on security, appreciation, or deception, also called phishing, spear phishing, USB donation, SQL injection, or execute. So we have multiple names for this process of this kind of attacks. The power and harmful impact of social engineering has been virtually increasing over the past few years due to complexity of security techniques that have been developed in the term of technicians along the cybersecurity and related attacks. Now, the human-based theories considered were the behavioral trust theory and the quantitative response theory, where the first one implies the truth humans shows toward digital communications, which is describe why the victims do interact with such attacks and with such fraud actions. My colleague, Dr. Abdullah Mahari, he is an associate professor working in the University of Jordan. He did an analysis for physio analysis description, describe the behavior of the victims and why they are interacting with such attacks and fraud processes. So he described this and classified it for 3 theories: cognitive ability, lower honest humility, and lower consequency and disline in conditions. The interpretation of Albert Ellis theory in physical consulting. So we have described the physioanalysis techniques that used to fraud the victims, and then linked that with a technical analysis of how this action done and how they take advantage of human normal reaction with these things. We have analyzed about 300 cases happened in the country, and we will see in statistical analysis significant things related to classification of these people in terms of their jobs, their sex, their ages. So what's related to technical analysis, we have just simplified it in 5 steps. Step 1, which starts with creating a fake account through social network, like Twitter or Facebook. These fake accounts just hold or use the name of well-known people to make it more confusing for the victims. Then they use the social engineering to deceive the victims of their importance to the account holder who represents a known person most likely, and offer to add them to a private group on the WhatsApp location. For example, you will receive a message from an account holding a name of a well-known person that telling you, because you are a VIP person and you are related to politics or financial, we will add you to this group on WhatsApp. So you will receive a verification code. Please send it back to us. And here starts the process of acquiring the account on WhatsApp. Step 3, it's the implementation of the process of seizing their accounts on WhatsApp application through deception of obtaining authentication numbers, which then will be used to create a business account on WhatsApp to hold this account and control it. Step 4, choosing a network for new victims linked to the new victim through his contact list. This step is actually critical and do need deep technical analysis. What's happening here, once the attacker take over the control on the main account that holding a real name and real person, he will start connecting people from his circle in terms of politics, media, financial, and do the same thing with them. So he starts like a mesh or a grid. He starts with someone and then he will make a deception with all people in contact list belong to this person. Then start the process of theft from ATM cards seen by buying digital currency in most of the cases. So what's happening here actually, the attacker starts sending messages to these people and deceive them that he is in a problem or stuck in an airport, or he need to buy something from the internet urgently now, and he have problem with his credit card. So he contact you from a well-known person to you, for example, from your brother account or your friend account. So ethically, you don't normally have to check or call this person back and make sure that he is the one who is contacting me over WhatsApp. So what you actually do, you are interacting positively with him and you send him your credit card, and here start the process of money thefting, which is actually close to money laundering process. So these people just buy digital currency using this money and then turn it again to real money using a lot of services like IQ options, ReadMax, Forex, and these things. Now, according to statistical analysis for the victims, we have significant numbers. Actually, it was highly significant that males are targeted more than females, and after analysis of these victims, it was actually clear that this process is linked to media and politics. So in general, worldwide, males are found much higher in density in terms of politics and working in politics. Now, in terms of fraud claims, there was a significant increase in the case of shopping. So most of these attackers just claim that they have a shopping problem, shopping issue with the car, and they need help in this. And then comes the hospital case, the healthy medical case, and other claims have been also analyzed, like airport stock, online payments, and there was a significant number for no clear reason. So some people just got a message that they need money or they need a credit card, but they have some private issues they cannot talk about. Now, regarding age and sex, it was highly noted that older people are targeted more because they have less, educational skills in terms of technology, and they do actually trust technology. In such cases, younger people was less in terms of reaction with these attackers, and they are more aware, which is lead us to the need of highly provide awareness in terms of cybersecurity for such cases. So in terms of targeted victims, it was highly clear that politicians are the most targeted people, and then people working on media, and then people working on consultation term, which is significant actually, because those people in a lot of cases have awareness about such attacks. But what actually happens that the attacker take advantage of their position and their reputation, and he convinced them that you are someone who's working in consultation, and we need to use your consultation experience in our group, so you will send you a code, please send it back to us so we use it. As of conclusion, financial frauds through social media applications, especially through the WhatsApp application, have increased worldwide, actually, not just in Jordan, but we talk about 300 cases from General Security Department in Jordan. And regarding this, and as a specialized procedure was conducted related to the use of this type of fraud in Jordan, and it was found that the use of fraudulent process consists of two main parts. Starts with the technical side, and then goes to the social engineering side. So this is my presentation. Thank you all for hearing. Any questions? I'm ready.
Thank you, Dr. Magdi, for the presentation. The topic is a very interesting topic. Just, I have one question. How it is possible to avoid theft using social media? What's the way to protect people from that?
Actually, the most important thing in terms of protection is awareness. So we need to teach people that you had never seen any code back sent to you from any social media service, because this code actually is a secret code related to verification process. So nothing more than awareness is important to these people,
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Magdi. Thank you for presentation. Please stop sharing the screen.
Okay, thank you.
We will move to the next paper. I'm not sure if the presenter is with us now or not. Okay, we can move to one of the presentations that we have video, COVID-19 tracking application. For the presenter is Dr. Julia Itani from Lebanon. I will share the presentation, the video of the presentation with you.
We'll be introducing our application, COVID tracing application, or COVID Talk.
Dr. Ahmed.
نعم.
Please go on the top. فوق هنا بتحصل مكتوب لك options more في الشاشة فوق.
الشاشة لحظة واحدة.
لا في الشير، لما تعمل شير اعمل شير اول شيء دكتور.
شير. انا عملت شير ساوند.
شير للفيديو دكتور عذرا بس على اساس نطمن ان الصوت يمشي مسموع.
شير فيديو.
ايوه اعمل شير فيديو. لا شير سكرين. اوكي.
شير فيديو. اوكي. شير. So I will share the video from the file itself. Okay. 1 minute, please.
بس خلينا نتأكد إن الصوت واضح.
I tried my method before and it was working. الطريقة اللي أنا جربتها قبل كده كانت شغالة، لكن ما فيش مشكلة.
خلينا الصوت بس تكتب
شغال.
لأنه أحيانا يكون في مشكلة في الصوت.
Hello, in this presentation we will be introducing our application
شغالة الآن بشكل جيد زلال؟
شغالة أيوة دكتور.
COVID tracing application or COVID TAP. We will have a coronavirus outbreak overview, discuss the World Health Organization recommendations, discuss some tracing applications developed by many countries, and we will introduce our application, discuss this front end, back end, and the expected results. COVID-19 has been affecting our country for almost 2 years with new strains appearing every day. So the World Health recommendations remain the same: wearing a mask, frequently sanitizing, maintaining social distancing, and ventilation of closed areas. However, the one thing we seem to be able to control through mobile application is social distancing. It is very important because one day of breaking it causes an increase 2.4 more days in the corona outbreak. So if we have one infected person and this person gets in contact with 3 other people and each of them is in contact with 3 more over the course of 10 cycles, this person would infect an estimate number of 59,000 people. So 1 week of maintaining social distancing decreases the outbreak by 17 days and makes the infection rate drop by 20%. So some countries such as Korea, they developed tracing applications in order to limit the virus spread. So we have Korea with Co-100, Australia with COVID-Safe, and Singapore with Trace Together. These 3 applications use contact tracing in order to monitor the user movement and notify them of any COVID-19 encounter in the case of Co-100. And in the case of COVID-Safe and Trace Together, they trace the affected people's movement and collect data for further tracing. However, the case of Co-100, Korea had to use electric wristbands to force the people to stay at home. COVID-Safe's data relies only on the user's consent, and Trace Together was only developed for Singapore. We also have Qatar with Ihtiraz and France with Tuzanti COVID. Both applications, they use Bluetooth and Google location services in order to notify the user of any COVID-19 encounter, monitor each user's health state when it comes to COVID-19, and track the virus spread across the country. However, Ihtiraz and Tuzanti COVID don't implement social distancing, and in the case of France's application, the users cannot turn their Bluetooth off. And in the case of Ma'an, it is a Lebanese application developed by the Ministry of Health using Kotlin and Firebase in order to monitor the COVID-19 outbreak among the users. Ma'an's 3 main features are registration done using Firebase's one-time password. The user enters his phone number, and Firebase will send a silent notification to make sure that the phone is still online, followed by the one-time passcode via an SMS. And if the user returns the one-time passcode and it matches the one sent by Firebase, the user is authenticated. And when it comes to distance measurement, it's done using Bluetooth or Bluetooth Low Energy, where each phone is associated with a unique ID, and this ID is shared every 20 milliseconds to 10.24 seconds. Then it's paused for 1 minute, and then it is turned off once the Bluetooth is off on either phone. Let's take a case study to understand how it actually works. Assume we have 6 random users, 5 of them have their Bluetooth turned on. The unique IDs are sent in all directions, and each one will store the strong signal. And if we have 3 users indicate that they are positive with the virus, then the users who were in contact with him and had their Bluetooth turned on will be notified. However, in the case of the user that did not have her Bluetooth turned on, she will not be notified. The final feature of Ma'an is contacting, where the Ministry of Public Health contacts each user that indicates he is positive with the virus to guide him through the next steps. Now, Ma'an ensures that the user is authenticated. No internet needed to operate the application. However, social distancing is not maintained. Bluetooth shut down after a while, and data cannot be used for further analysis. And when we tried to install it and use it for further evaluation, it did not really work. So we propose our application COVID Tab, which is a mobile application used to check for social distancing and alert the users if they were in contact with a positive patient. Now let's assume that we have two random users having COVID Tab. Their location is constantly shared to the backend, and if the backend detects that they were in close contact for more than 10 minutes, the server will alert them to maintain social distancing. If a user indicates that he is positive with the virus, he will first verify his test results using Firebase machine learning kit, and then the server will alert all the users who were in contact with them. And the users will have the ability to edit their profile, log their temperature, contact emergency services, chat with our bot, and monitor worldwide COVID statistics. Now, if the users indicate that they are at home, they will not be notified to maintain social distancing, but they will be able to use the application features normally. Now, COVID Tab's front end contains three main features: distance measurement using Google Location Services, chatbot, and the optical character recognition by Firebase. Now, geolocation is the act of acquiring the device's latitude and longitude, and for more accuracy, it uses nearby devices. So the more nodes there are, the more accuracy we can gather. As for our chatbot, it is done using three phases: the scope phase, where the intents are created, meaning the inputs and statements. Now the design phase, the possible user the possible chatbot responses are defined, and in the integrate phase, the intents and the entities are linked together to create a chat. As we can see in this screenshot, our chatbot is designed to answer COVID-19 related questions. As for optical character recognition using Firebase, it is done to authenticate the test results of each user when he indicates that he is positive with the virus. As for COVID-19's backend, we will discuss the database using MySQL and the APIs. Now, our database, it's used to save the user's information upon his successful registration, and to save his constant location updates. As for our APIs, we will first discuss the add new location, which saves each user's location, and it is called every 10 minutes to check the distance between the users, and the COVID alert API to check the users who were in contact with any patient who states that he is positive with the virus. Add new user is used to save the new user's information, log in to check the user's credential, and to update user, it's called after the user updates his profile. So our application's interface consists of a login screen and a sign-up screen where the user enters his basic information. It also allows him to set his home location and to view the worldwide statistics, and the user will be able to chat with our bot, indicate that he is positive with the virus, monitor his temperature, log out, edit his profile, and call emergency services. Now, we chose Google Location Services because it is used by 80 to 90% of all Android users. Battery percentage usage is relatively low, and it is very accurate due to the use of a geolocation. Now, once we tested it, we noticed that it is very accurate, up to 6.6 centimeters was the actual location, whereas the detected location was 6.4 centimeters. So after testing it on different measurements, we noticed that the average error is 3.3%, which is relatively low. Now the users are notified whether they are violating social distancing or they were in contact with any patient who indicates and he is verified to be positive with the virus. Now our app will authenticate the user using email and password. It has several interaction features. It notifies the users if they were in contact with a positive patient. It will ensure social distancing, and it has a home setting to disregard notifications regarding social distancing when the users are at home. Now, this is it. Thank you for listening and stay safe.
دكتور الصوت.
Yeah, I would like to thank Dr. Julia for the interesting presentation. We will move to the next presentation, which is titled Scheduling UET, UCT, DAGs of DEPS 2-on-2 processors. We have the video for the presentation, so I will share it with you right now.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Rosen Khadura from Jordan, Dhaka University, Computer Science Department. We present a linear time algorithm for scheduling in tasks on two processors where all the tasks form a DAG of depth 2. The execution time of every task equal to 1, and the communication delay between any two consecutive tasks is also equal to 1. My presentation consists of 4 sections. First, I will present an introduction about the general form of the problem, then a literature review, then I will present the grand line of our algorithm. Finally, I conclude by future research that can be follow this work. Scheduling problems have been studied extensively for at least the first 15 years. Generally speaking, scheduling is concerned with allocation of scarce resources to activities with the objective of optimizing one or more performance measures. As a simple example, resources may be courses and activity may be classrooms or teachers. The objective is to allocate the courses on classroom or on teachers in optimal way.
دكتور عذرا.
The general scheduling model consists of a set of
دكتور الشاشة مو واضحة معنا دكتور. شاشة الفيديو واضحة.
أنا عامل لها شير بنفس الطريقة اللي عملت بيها شير المرة اللي فاتت، واضحة الآن؟
وش ما واضح شيء، واضحة صورتك دكتور.
طب لحظة واحدة هعمل ستوب شير وهعمل شير أجين.
بليز.
واضحة الآن؟
أيوه الآن أوكي.
طيب بس ننتقل للجزء اللي هو كان فيه البرزنتيشن.
For at least the first 15 years, generally speaking, scheduling is concerned with allocation of scarce resources to activities with the objective of optimizing one or more performance measures. As a simple example, resources may be courses and activity may be classrooms or teachers. The objective is to allocate the courses on classroom or on teachers in optimal way. The general scheduling model consists of a set of n tasks to be executed on a set of m processors. Each task J is characterized by its processing time Several criteria can be found in literature to schedule the task on processor. One of these criteria is to specify which task should be executed by which processor, subject to precision constraint, and may be without communication delay. Objective is in this criteria is to schedule all tasks on the processor such that the finishing time of the last task is minimum. This program can be represented by a DAG J equal to V E called a task graph. V is the set of tasks and E is the set of precedence constraints. Await BI is associated with every task I represents the execution time of the task I. And await Cij is associated with every Hij represents the communication time between the task I and J. If Ij belongs to E and the task I starts its execution time at time T on a processor B, then either J starts its execution on B at time greater than or equal to T plus Pi, or start its execution on some other processor at time T plus Pi at time greater than or equal to T plus Pi plus Cij. This problem is denoted as Bm precedence Bi Cij Cmax, where Bm is the number of processors. Precedence represents the precedence constant. Bi represents the execution time of every task J. Cij is the communication time between task I and task J. And the objective is to find Cmax. We find in the literature that the complexity of the problem Bk precedence Pi equal to 1, Cij equal to 0, Cmax is open. That is, this program till now is there is the complexity of this problem is unknown, where k is fixed. But if k equal to 2, the problem B2 precedence Pi equal to 1, Cij equal to 0, Cmax is solvable in polynomial time. For any fixed k, when the precedence graph is restricted to certain special form, the problem Bk precedence Pi equal to 1, Cij equal to 0, and the objective is to find Cmax, turn out to be solvable in polynomial time. This is possible for any tree, outer tree, opposing forest, and interval orders. Also, in the literature, we find that the problem B3 precedence Bi equal to 1, Cij equal to 0, Cmax remain an open question. And the problem B2 precedence equal to binary tree Bi equal to 1, Cij equal to C, where C is a large integer, is NP hard. But this problem is polynomial if the precedence of the task graph is a complete binary tree. A challenging problem is the two processors scheduling with UET UCT. That is the problem B2 precedence Bi equal to 1, Cij equal to 1, Cmax, for which the complexity is unknown. In the literature also we find that this problem is polynomial for tree and interval order and a subclass of series parallel graph. We propose for the problem B2 precedence Pi equal to 1, Cij equal to 1, Cmax, a linear time algorithm to compute an optimal scheduling for the class of DAGs of depth 2. That is the graph for which the vertex can be partitioned into three subsets A, B, C, and every edge connect between A and B, or between B and C, and there is no edge between A and C. The structure of DAGs of depth 2 allow us to schedule first the set of vertices A, then the vertices of B, then the vertices of C. That is, there is always a feasible schedule that satisfies this probability. From this remark, we conclude that any optimal scheduling must be satisfy the following inequality: Cmax greater than or equal to cell of A union B union C on 2, and smaller than or equal to cell of A union B union C on 2 plus 2. The general idea of our algorithm is the following. The algorithm start to find the last two vertices A1, A2 that must be scheduled before scheduling any task of B. Then it find the first two vertices B1, B2 that must be scheduled directly after A1, A2, and the last two vertices of B, B3, B4 that must be scheduled before scheduling any task of C, and finally the first two tasks of C, C1, C2 that must be scheduling directly after C1 and C2. The essential mission of our algorithm is the decision whether the vertex B1 or B2 and B3 or B4 exists or not, and the decision whether the vertex C1 or C2 exists or not. For technical reasons, the algorithm produces an optimal scheduling in reverse. That is, it starts to schedule the vertices of C first, then the vertices of B, and finally the vertices of A. We call every pair A1, A2, B1, B2, B3, B4, and C1, C2 a hinge. The algorithm using mathematical tools find the hinge C1, C2, and if this hinge is must be scheduled in series or in parallel. Also, it finds the hinge B1, B2, B3, B4, A1, A2, and characterize if these hinges are scheduled in parallel or in series. So, the building of optimal scheduling for a duct J equal to A union B union C, where E of depth 2 start by find the right hinge C1, C2 of C and the left hinge B1, B2 of B in the adjacent subgraph J, B union C. Then find the right hinge B3, B4 of B and the left hinge A1, A2 of A in the adjacent subgraph J, B union A, or for the subgraph J, B minus B1, B2 union A. If B greater 3 in the last case. Finally, it schedule the vertices A, B, C alternately on B1 and B2 in the order C minus C1, C2, C1, C2, B1, B2, B minus B1, B2, B3, B4, A1, A2, A minus A1, A2. The complexity of this algorithm is O of M plus N, where M is the number of edges and N is the number of vertices. For example, when we apply this algorithm in this D graph, it finds that the right hinge of C is C4, C3, and the left hinge of B is B4 and I is imaginary vertex that is not exist, and the left hinge, the right hinge of B is B2, B1, and the right hinge of A is A3, A2. And the length of this scheduling for this D graph is equal to 6. As a direction of this work, it may be the following. We believe that our algorithm can be generalized for any DAG of arbitrary depths and without jumping edges, that is, edges between two non-consecutive levels. If this is possible, then the question that may be is the following. Is it possible to use this generalization for solving this problem in general case using this generalization of this algorithm? We hope that this is possible. Thank you for your listens.
We would like to thank Dr. Razan Qaddoura for his presentation. We will move to the next presentation, which is titled Intrusion Detection System Based Machine Learning Methods. I will also share the video of the presentation with you.
Hello, everyone. Today we will introduce our contribution in the conference, which is a comprehensive survey for the machine learning and the deep learning application used in the intrusion detection system. This work has been done by me, Dr. Ola Surakhi from Princess Sumaya University in Jordan, Dr. Antonio from University of Granada, Mr. Muhammad Jamous, a PhD candidate at the University of Granada, and Dr. Muhammad Khanafse from Birzeit University. We'll give an introduction about this work. First, we'll talk about the large expansion of the network size recently and the increasing number of the application that is used to handle by the network nodes. This results in a huge amount of data which are shared and transferred over the network. The sharing and the transferring of this huge amount of data caused a series of harmful attacks, and this raised the need to improve the security of the network. The intrusion detection system is a system that monitors the network traffic from any suspicious behavior to provide a security for the network and the data that are transferred over this network. There are many classification methods which are used in the literature for the task of classification the anomaly data in the intrusion detection system. Recently, the researcher began to use the machine learning methods in order to improve the detection methods in the intrusion detection system. The machine learning methods can help in identify and classify the different type of attacks from a huge amount of data in the intrusion detection system. Deep learning methods is a subset from the machine learning that are better in dealing with the big data and the large volume of data. The research methodology of this research is to provide a comprehensive survey about the recent trend in the development of the intrusion detection system based on the using of the machine learning and the deep learning methods. This includes three folds. First, we summarized the benchmark data sets for the intrusion detection system, these data sets which are used by the researcher in the literature. Next, we selected a set of journal articles which are published from 2018 to 2021 that applied the machine learning and the deep learning method in the intrusion detection system. We reviewed the methodology for each one, the evaluation metrics used, and the data set used by each one. Then we analyzed the strength and the weakness points for each article. Finally, based on the observations, we provide the results, the challenges in the IDS-based machine learning and deep learning methods in order for any interest from the researcher for this future direction in this domain. To give a concept about the intrusion detection system, it is a security system that monitors the network traffic, okay, in order to detect any security violation or suspicious behavior. It can be divided into two main categories, the detection method-based and the development method-based. In the detection method-based, there are two types of intrusion detection system, the signature-based, SIDS, the anomaly-based. In the signature-based, it saves a signature for each attack in the database, and for any suspicious behavior, it compares this behavior with the saved signature in the database. The AIDS, the anomaly-based, it creates a profile for a normal activity and define any abnormal activity as a derivative degree from this normal activity. The second type of the intrusion detection system is the deployment method-based, which has also two types, the host-based and the network-based. In the host-based, there are a intrusion detection system, which is developed separately at each host in the network. And this intrusion detection is responsible for detect any suspicious behavior on the host that is implemented in. The last one is the network-based intrusion detection system. It is developed over the network to monitor its traffic and detect any abnormal behavior in the network. Comparing the advantages and the disadvantages for these types of the intrusion detection system, we'll talk quickly about this. In the signature-based, it has a high detection accuracy as it compared with the saved in the database. But the disadvantage, it can detect only the known attack. So the unknown attack, it gets less performance in detection, this type of the unknown attack. In the anomaly-based intrusion detection system, it's strongly generalizable with the ability to detect the unknown attack, but the disadvantage, it has a high false error rate. In the host intrusion detection system, it can detect the behavior of significant object, but its disadvantage, it's difficult to deploy, depends on the operating system for every host, as we need a intrusion detection system separately implemented in every host in the system. The network intrusion detection system, it can be applied in different operating system environments to detect the attack in a real time, but its disadvantage monitoring only the traffic path of the network. On the other hand, we'll talk about the machine learning and the deep learning algorithms used in the intrusion detection system. As we said, there are two types of the machine learning algorithms. The first one is the traditional machine learning methods, which is also called a shallow learning. This includes many methods such as the artificial neural network, support vector machine, key nearest neighbor. The second one is the deep learning algorithms, which includes many layers in its architecture in order to identify the characteristic of the data and learn more feature about this data. This will improve the accuracy of the job that this algorithm are going to do. Some of the deep learning methods include the recurrent neural network, the deep neural network, the convolutional neural network, the GAN, and more. The deep learning methods are robust, more powerful in the learning ability, as it has, because of its internal structures with many hidden layers, this enables the model to extract useful features from a complex and huge amount of data. We'll talk quickly about the traditional machine learning and the deep learning methods. In this slide, we will give a briefly description about the traditional machine learning methods, such as the decision tree, which is a supervised method used both for the classification and the regression, consists of nodes and the branches. Each node represents a feature, and the branch is a rule where the leaf is the possible class for the classification. It's a strength that it selects the features automatically, but its weakness, the decision tree results of its classification usually skew to the majority class. The multi-layer perceptron, it's a feed-forward neural network, consists of the input hidden and the output layer. It works for the non-linear data, but on the other hand, it's a time-consuming with the local optima problem. The key nearest neighbor algorithm is a machine learning classifier, which is used to predict the class of data based on the idea of the feature similarity. It also works with the nonlinear data and robust noise, but on the other hand, it's sensitive and depends on the selection of the K parameter. The naive bias, it is based on the assumption of a conditional probability for different class. It can learn incrementally with a strong deal with noise, but on the other hand, it does not perform well in a real data. Methods such as the recurrent neural network, which is used in the time series forecasting application because it consists with a feedback. Decoder compresses the data to produce a code where the decoder reconstructs the input using this. It can learn the internal representation of the data. On the other hand, the optimization of the network needs the running of many trial and error attempts in order to find the optimal architecture of the network. Comparing the difference between the machine learning and the deep learning method, in the running time, the deep learning methods it consumes more time because of architecture, as it has multi-hidden layer architecture. The hyperparameter tuning, of course, the deep learning contains more hyperparameters which need to be tuned efficiently. The learning data for the supervised learning, which can be classified to either an attack or normal data. Each data set defined a set of a type of attacks. Examples of this data set, the KDD-CUP, the NSL KDD, and the ATFA-WD. So the data sets that exists for the researcher in the intrusion detection system contains a labeled data. This data can be classified into either an attack or normal data. Intrusion detection system, which data set used by this work to examine the performance of the method, what are the metrics used for the evaluation, and what are the contribution for each of these works. The results from the research papers that we used in the survey, which are about 30 research papers, are as follows. First, the using of the state-of-the-art deep learning methods is more efficient, than the traditional machine learning. The traditional machine learning become incompatible when the data size increases. The deep learning methods are more powerful. A combination between the intrusion detection system with the deep learning algorithms can offer an intelligent solution to address the security threats and prevent the attacks in the IoT environment by keeping in mind the shortcoming of the IoT devices. It is a very important things to be taken into consideration when dealing with the data sets of the intrusion detection. A good data set plays a vital role in the modeling training. The up-to-date data set contains more information about the new attack. The problem of the unbalancing of this data set can be solved by oversampling techniques in order to improve the class distribution of the data set. Ensemble learning, which aims to find the best set of a classifier and best way to combine them, can improve the overall performance of the classification and can be used in the intrusion detection system. In general, the use of the deep learning methods is more efficient than the traditional machine learning methods, while the performance varies between them depending on the type of the model and the optimization technique used to optimize the system, such as the host signature and the anomaly intrusion detection system. In conclusion, we can say that this paper gives a comprehensive survey about the recent trends of the using of machine learning and deep learning methods to improve the performance of the intrusion detection system. There are several machine learning and deep learning techniques that can be used to improve the performance in terms of accuracy. The paper highlights the strengths and the weakness of these methods. The detailed investigation was placed in the challenges that may face the researcher in the future for the development of the intrusion detection system based on the following aspects: the benchmark datasets, the classification methods, and the intrusion detection system environment. For the future scope, we can say that efficient dataset for the intrusion detection system can be either modified by using the recent generation methods such as the GAN technology that can be deployed in the real-time monitoring of the intrusion detection system. The deep learning method improves the performance of the detection in the intrusion detection system. More development in this area can be done by using the state-of-the-art deep learning method or by using a hybrid approach that combines different deep learning methods in order to enhance the performance in terms of the security. More researches are still needed in the intrusion detection system types, such as the signature and the anomaly and the host intrusion detection. A combination between the deep learning methods and the recent security technologies, such as the blockchain, can improve the intrusion detection system security in terms of confidentiality, integrity, and more.
We will thank Dr. Roya for her presentation. Dr. Muhammad is with us. I just have, can you unmute the mic, Dr. Muhammad? I just have one question. Thank you for the presentation. I have one question. How can we avoid the disadvantages of the system? One of the disadvantages was it's only detect the known attacks and less efficiency with big database. How can these disadvantages be avoided?
Yes, as you know, first of all, صباح الخير والسلام عليكم جميعا. When we work with the IDS, intrusion detection system, these days we have also a generative adversarial neural network. This kind of IDS that work to learn them how to find these threats from a lot of experiment and testing from a large data set. So from this way, we can learn and we can try to find these intrusion that it will affect us.
Thank you again, Dr. Muhammad, for the presentation. And we hope, thank you very much. We will move now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will move now to the next presentation, which is classifying Arabic text using vector space model. We also have the video of the presentation, which is number 156. So I will share the video with you now.
بحثنا اليوم عنوان Classify Arabic Text Using Vector Space Model للباحثين عصام هنندي عارف أبو عواد هزام حصان من جامعة الزرقاء. الأبستراكت راح نتكلم عن مختار الباحثون دراسة ل 242 ملخصات من الملخصات العربية متخصصة في علم الحاسوب ونظم المعلومات. قام الباحثون بإنشاء نظام خاص لاسترجاع المعلومات باللغة العربية، واستخدم الباحثون استراتيجية الفهرسة التلقائية. تم إنشاء نظام باستخدام الفيكتور سبيس موديل على القياسات الدايس، الكوساين، الجاكارد والإنر، وطبعا باستخدام زي ما حكينا الفيكتور سبيس موديل. قام الباحثون بمقارنة نتائج استرجاع على الوثائق العربية. اكتشف الباحثون أن نتيجة استرجاع الكوساين كانت أفضل من غيرها في عن باقي الاسترجاع للقياسات الأخرى. المقدمة نتكلم عن أنه استرجاع المعلومات النصية زي ما نعرف هي مهمة ليست سهلة. قد تكون المشكلة في المعلومات التي غالبا ما تكون تم إساءة فهمها بسبب الغموض في اللغة الطبيعية، أو أن طلب المعلومات المستخدمة موصوف بشكل غير دقيق أو غامض. هذا يستلزم تطوير أنظمة آلية محسنة لإيجاد وتنظيم المستندات النصية بحيث يمكن الوصول إلى إعدادات الصلة بسرعة ودقة. زي ما نعرف احنا في استرجاع المعلومات هناك مجالان رئيسيان للدراسة هدفها الرئيسي هو تمكين المستخدمين النهائيين من البحث بنجاح وكفاءة، وهذا ما نصبو إليه. أحد هذه المجالات هو توظيف نهج قائم على المعرفة لأنظمة استرجاع المعلومات حيث نستخدم تقنيات الأنظمة الخبيرة. موضوع الدراسات الأخرى هو إنشاء العمليات الحسابية لتسمح للحاسوب بأداء وظائفه بطريقة أفضل، حيث يعتمد النهج الإحصائي لاسترجاع المعلومات على تطبيق مجموعة متنوعة من الأساليب الإحصائية. يركز مجال الدراسة هذا على فعالية الاسترجاع، أي أن بعض أنظمة التشغيل مثل سمارت السير قد تطوير استبداد عدد أكبر من عناصر الصلة من أنظمة المنطقية. تم استخدام الأوزان غير الثنائية المطبقة على الاستعلامات والمستندات في النهاية تحديد درجة التشابه في كل مستند في النظام واستعلام المستخدم. سيأخذ النموذج المتجه باعتبار المستندات تتطابق جزئيا مع شروط الاستعلام، يعني انه yes or no موجودة او غير موجود. تم استخدام نظام اتجاهات اللي هو T dimensional لتمثيل كل مستند والاستعلام في الفيكتور سبيس موديل، وهذه التمثيلات ذات الابعاد الوثيقه حيث الدي يمثل الدوكيومنت والكيو يمثل الكوري التي يتم ادخاله الى النظام. طبعا قمنا ب يعني النظر الى اكثر من باحث قام يعني تشابه الى حد ما في بعض الابحاث اللي متشابه مع بحثنا. على سبيل المثال اخذنا جعفر عبابنة قام باستخدام طريقه الكي ان ان، قام بتحليل هذا البحث باستخدام الفيكتور سبيس موديل على المقاييس تشابه الدايس والجاجر والكوساين. تستند مقارنته الى مقاييس تقييم النص الاكثر استخداما. اظهرت النتائج التجريبيه لبحثه تفوق اللي هو الكوساين على باقي المعاملات الاخرى عند تطبيقها على مجموعات البيانات السعوديه. الداتا ديسكريبشن يعني حتى نتعامل مع النص العربي، وانشانا نظاما آليا لاسترجاع المعلومات من الالف الى الياء. تم كتابته بلغه سي شارب وهو متوافق مع الانظمه الشخصيه الاي بي ام باستخدام طبعا inverted file. انشانا فهرسا شاملا تلقائيا للكلمات. في النظام الاول استخدمنا نموذج الفيكتور سبيس موديل بقياسات التشابه الثلاث اللي هي كوساين دايس والجاجر لاوزان مصطلح الفرص. استخدمنا نظام مصطلح اللي هو ما يسمى بالانفرس ديكريمنت فريكونسي. استخدمنا نموذج احتماليا بمصطلحات مؤشر الوزن الثنائي في النظام الثنائي. experiment of our system قمنا بإجراء أكثر من 60 استعلاما على ال 242 نص العربي اللي تم استخدامه في هذا البحث لدراسة القياسات الأربعة للدايس والكوساين والجاجر والإنر لكل عملية تشغيل. قمنا بإدخال الاستعلام تلقائيا بحيث يوفر قياس التشابه. يتم استرجاع المعلومات بناء على أو البيانات بناء على ترتيبها اللي تأخذ تشابه أعلى فيتم ترتيبها تصاعديا. بعد ذلك يتم يعني بطريقة أقل حتى آخر دوكيمنت. فعلى سبيل المثال أخذنا استعلام علوم الحاسوب ومعلومات الجدول الأول، استرجع لنا أول دوكيمنت كانت أكثر درجة تشابه هي 201 درجة تشابه 0.304، ثم 171.223، وهكذا حتى باقي الدوكيمنت. وطبعا على سبيل المثال أخذنا هذا، طبعا هذا تم استخدامه على الكوساين، الدايس، الجقر، الإنر إلى آخره من درجات التشابه. تشمل قياساتنا طبعا كمان على غير الأربع تشابهات الفيكتور سبيس موديل. أخذنا ريفول، بريسيجن، فول أوف، والإيمجر، هي جميع القياسات الثنائية التي يكون فيها الكائن إما ذات صلة أو غير ذات صلة، بين قوسين يعني إما يكون يس أو نو، يعني جاي موجود أو غير موجود، وهو الشكل الأساسي للقياسات انفورميشن ريتريفل. يمكن تقسيم القياس إلى فئتين: قياس الصلة وقياس الاسترجاع. تم تضمين عدد المستندات تم استردادها واستعلام ومؤشر الحكم الملائم ومعاوضة التشابه في الإخراج لكل استعلام في النظام. ثم يتم فرز القائمة حسب التشابه في الترتيب التنازلي، ويتم استخدام القائمة المصنفة لتحديد قيم الاستعارة. زي ما احنا شايفين في هذا الجدول، جدول 4 اللي حسبنا الريكول، بريسيجن، الكوساين، الدايس، الجدر والإنر. لاحظ إنه الكوساين يعني درجة التشابه كانت أعلى من غيرها بقليل عن باقي درجات التشابه في الفيكتور سبيس موديل في هذا الجدول. كمان في الجدول اللي بعده اللي هو جدول 5 نفس الشيء، حسبنا لبقية الريكول والبريسيجن للإيمجر والفول أوت، وجدنا إنه قيم البريسيجن والريكول أعلى من قيم الفول أوت والإيمجر، ما يعني أن استرجاع المعلومات في النظام كانت جيدة إلى حد ما، وهذا موضح كما حكينا في الجدول 4 وجدول 5. كما أن يعني هذا الشكل يوضح طبعا الكوساين كان تفوق قليلا على باقي القياسات الأخرى هي الدايس والجبل والإنر، وبين لنا أنه يعني أفضل قليلا من باقي القياسات. النتيجة النهائية والكونكلوجن اللي ممكن نحصل عليها، طبعا الكونكلوجن قمنا بعمل يعني كومبارجن بدراسات سابقة. أخذنا على سبيل المثال الخراشي قام ب يعني أخذ درجات التشابه الثلاث اللي هي الكوساين والدايس والجغل، واكتشف أنها قدمت تقريبا جميعها نفس الترتيب لجميع الاستفسارات. اثنين، في عندنا بحث آخر أو بحثين، كان عان وشلبي، قام بعمل دراسات وعلى نفس المقاييس الثلاث اللي هي الجي، الدايس والجغل والكوساين، واكتشف أنها أسفرت عن نتائج متطابقة تقريبا. في بحث تبعنا أو في بحثنا هذا قمنا بعمل دراسات مشابهة، ضفنا لهم الإنر طبعا وزي ما حكينا الفول أوت والبريسيجن. في بحثنا يعني زي ما شاهدنا سابقا في التيبلز والشكل انه تفوق قليلا الكوساين على باقي القياسات الاخرى الدايس والجغل والانر، وهذا يثبت ان هذا التجربه كانت افضل قليلا من باقي التجارب الاخرى، او على او يعني تشابه بطريقه اكثر منها من بقيه الباحثين، فكان النتائج تقريبا جيده. وشكرا لكم.
We would like to thank Dr. Assam Handa for his presentation. We will move to the next presentation, which is titled Prediction of Electrical Power Consumption in Jordan. I will share the video with you right now.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بداية شكرا لكم لإعطائي الفرصة للتحدث، حيث سنتحدث اليوم عن Prediction of Electrical Power Consumption in Jordan، توقع استهلاك الطاقة الكهربائية في الأردن. دكتور خالد منصور، محدثكم محمد الحسبان، الدكتور ياسين الحسبان، دكتور ياسر اللحام. ننتقل الآن إلى الأجندة. بداية الانترودكشن، related work, data sets, experiment result, conclusions, feature works. ننتقل الآن إلى الانترودكشن. اليوم ازدادت أهمية الكهرباء بشكل كبير، حيث أصبحت أحد المتطلبات الأساسية للحياة لأي إنسان، بحيث أن إدارة هذه المصدر بشكل فعال يساعد في تحسين رفاهية الناس. ومن هنا أصبحت الكهرباء أحد المحاور الرئيسية للبحث العلمي من حيث طرق توليدها وجوانب الحفاظ عليها من الهدر والضياع والتنبؤ بكمية الحاجة في المستقبل. ولأن الطلب على الطاقة الكهربائية متقلب ومعقد بناء على طلبات غير متوقعة من أسواق الكهرباء، مما يجعل التنبؤ بكمية الطاقة غير دقيق، بالإضافة إلى المساهمة في خسائر غير متوقعة في الطاقة. كان هذا هو الدافع الرئيسي وراء البحث في هذا المجال. لذلك تهدف هذه الورقة البحثية إلى بناء نموذج يعتمد على خوارزميات الماشين ليرنينج، ويهدف إلى التنبؤ بكميات الطاقة من أجل الحفاظ على الموارد والتعامل مع مشكلة استهلاك الطاقة في المستقبل. ننتقل الآن إلى related work، الأعمال ذات الصلة. تم اختيار 4 دراسات لعرضهم الدراسات التي تم العمل عليها. أول دراسة هون اعتمدت هذه الدراسة على المعالجة والتحليل الإحصائي. ثاني دراسة استخدمت الفازي intellectual maps موديل من مدخلات معلومات يمكن التحقق منها بدون وساطة بشرية. ثالث دراسة استخدمت نيورال نتورك للتدريب والتنبؤ بطلب الحمل الكهربائي لكل نصف ساعة لمدة 8 سنوات. رابع دراسة قدمت هذه الدراسة منهجية تعتمد على نوعين من النيورال سيستم، أحداهما لتوقع الحمل والثاني للتنبؤ بنوع الحمل. داتا سيت، تم استخدام مجموعة البيانات من مصادر مختلفة، وهي تتألف من قراءات حقيقية للشركات العاملة في مجال الطاقة، مرتبة في إكسل شيت تحتوي على 7912 ريكورد، تضم العديد من الفيتشرز. درجة الحرارة تم الحصول عليها من وزارة النقل، إدارة الأرصاد الجوية، عدد السكان، وزارة التخطيط والتعاون الدولي، إدارة الإحصاءات العامة. بيانات السيارات الكهربائية، هيئة مستثمري المناطق الحرة الأردنية، مشاريع الطاقة المتجددة، مؤسسة الحسبان للطاقة الشمسية. تم الحصول على إجمالي استهلاك الطاقة بالميجا واط من شركة الكهرباء الوطنية، حيث تحتوي قاعدة البيانات المستخدمة على نوعين من الداتا سيت. سمول داتا تحتوي على 30 ريكورد فيها temperature, population, electrical car, renewable energy project والبرايس. واللارج داتا سيت تحتوي على 7882 ريكورد temperature, population, electrical car. data normalization، من أجل الحصول على نتائج أفضل ودقة أعلى تم عمل normalization للبيانات. هو نهج منظم يستخدم لتحليل البيانات للتخلص من البيانات المكررة وإزالة الخصائص غير المرغوب فيها. استخدمنا معادلة x normalized تساوي قيمة x ناقص أقل قيمة تقسيم الماكسيمم ناقص المينيمم. data categorization، تصنيف البيانات. من أجل الحصول على أفضل النتائج تم تصنيف البيانات إلى 5 فئات على النحو التالي: very low power consumption, low power consumption, medium power consumption, high power consumption, very high power consumption. حيث تم تصنيف البيانات باستخدام المعادلة التالية: category length equal الماكسيمم ناقص المينيمم تقسيم number of category. data sets، تحتوي small data sets على 30 ريكورد، تحتوي على 5 features: درجة الحرارة، عدد السكان، electrical car، مشاريع الطاقة المتجددة، والسعر. تم عمل ليبل للبيانات كما في الجدول المبين التالي. large data set تحتوي على 7882 ريكورد، تحتوي على 3 features: price, population و temperature. تم عمل ليبل كما هو مبين بالجدول التالي على 5 ليبل: very low power consumption, low power consumption, medium power consumption, high power consumption, very high power consumption within الفترة from to. result analysis، تحليل النتائج. يقدم هذا القسم النتائج والمناقشات التجريبية. كما أوضحنا سابقا تم استخدام مجموعتين من البيانات المختلفة تسمى مجموعة البيانات الأولى اللي هي اللارج داتا سيت لأنها تحتوي على عدد كبير من العينات عند مقارنتها بمجموعة البيانات اللي هم سمول داتا سيت. يتم استخدام 3 خوارزميات من خوارزميات الماشين ليرنينج لبناء نموذج للتنبؤ. يتم استخدام البيانات مع الخوارزميات الثلاثة قبل النورماليزيشن وبعد النورماليزيشن. وتم استخدام معايير لقياس الأداء اللي هم البريسيجن والريكول، F1 سكور والأكيورسي. لارج داتا سيت ريزلت في تيبل 3 تظهر النتائج التي نستخدم فيها اللارج داتا سيت قبل عمل النورماليزيشن، حيث أظهرت النتائج الراندوم فورست تفوقها على الأطراف على الطرق الأخرى، والسبورت فيكتور ماشين في المرتبة الثانية، وأبدت النيورال نتورك أداء ضعيفا. حيث أشارت النتائج أن الراندوم فورست والسبورت فيكتور ماشين تعمل بشكل جيد مع الداتا سيت مع اللارج داتا سيت بدون عمل النورماليزيشن. تيبل 4 النتائج التي ظهرت في هذا التيبل بعد عمل النورماليزيشن لللارج داتا سيت لتحسين الأداء في خوارزميات الماشين ليرنينج، حيث تحسن أداء النيورال نتورك بشكل ملحوظ. مع ذلك لا تزال الراندوم فورست هي الأفضل في بين هذه الخوارزميات. سمول داتا سيت ريزلت في تيبل 5 تظهر نتائج السمول داتا سيت قبل عمل النورماليزيشن، وكما هو الحال مع مجموعة لارج داتا سيت تظهر النتائج أن أفضل خوارزميات الماشين ليرنينج هي خوارزمية الراندوم فورست، وفي المرتبة الثانية سبورت فيكتور ماشين والنيورال نتورك بينت أداء ضعيفا. وكما يظهر بالجدول 6 أنه بعد عمل النورماليزيشن للسمول داتا سيت حيث تحسن أداء النيورال نتورك بشكل كبير. فيما يلي تمثيل بياني للفيتشرز الأكثر تأثيرا على التنبؤ حسب الداتا سيت المستخدمة للراندوم فورست ريزلت على السمول داتا سيت. البرايس أكثر تأثيرا، الريونابل انرجي بروجكت، بعدين الالكتريكال كار تمبريتشر بوبيوليشن. في اللارج داتا سيت البرايس البوبيوليشن ومن ثم التمبريتشر. في خوارزمية النيورال نتورك كانت الريزلت على السمول داتا سيت البرايس أكثر تأثيرا، بعده يجي ريونابل انرجي بروجكت، التمبريتشر، البوبيوليشن، الالكتريكال كار. على اللارج داتا سيت كان الأقل تأثيرا التمبريتشر، بعدها البوبيوليشن، الأكثر تأثيرا البرايس. تتناول هذه البيبر مشكلة التنبؤ باستهلاك الطاقة الكهربائية في المستقبل باستخدام خوارزميات الماشين ليرنينج. تم استخدام 3 خوارزميات لبناء نموذج تنبؤ تظهر النتائج أن الراندوم فورست تظهر نتائج أفضل في حال تدريبها واستخدام لارج داتا سيت مع أو بدون عمل نورماليزيشن. بعد عمل النورماليزيشن يصبح أداء النيورال نتورك مشابها للراندوم فورست. كان أداء السبورت فيكتور ماشين عاليا قبل وبعد النورماليزيشن للداتا سيت. فيما يتعلق بالسمول داتا سيت قبل عمل النورماليزيشن كان أداء الراندوم فورست أفضل من الخوارزميتين الباقيتين، ومع ذلك بعد عمل النورماليزيشن كان أداء النيورال نتورك هو الأفضل وتأتي بعدها الراندوم فورست. ومن حيث الفيتشرز أظهرت النتائج التجريبية أن السعر كان أهم فيتشرز في اللارج داتا سيت، وكان السعر ومشاريع الطاقة المتجددة في السمول داتا سيت. لتعميم النتائج في هذه البيبر هنالك حاجة إلى مزيد من الفيتشرز وعمل تنبؤ في دول أخرى غير الأردن. الفيتشر ووركس العمل على مجموعة بيانات من بلدان مختلفة، استخدام خصائص مختلفة مثل الطاقة النووية في توليد الكهرباء، مزيد من البيانات حول الطاقة المتجددة لمعرفة تأثيرها على توليد الطاقة الكهربائية بشكل أفضل. Thank you.
We would like to thank Dr. Khaled Mansour for his presentation. He's not available with us today. So we will move to the next presentation, which is titled Retention Contracts Under Hidden Information. I will share the video with you.
Hello everyone. I am Prof. Zainaho Hamdi from Al Ain University. Today I will discuss the retention contract under hidden information. This model is developed in collaboration with my colleagues Prof. Belqasem Athamna and Prof. Ghalib Al-Rifai. For this purpose, I prepared the following plan. I will start by an introduction to describe the research context and the problem statement. Then I will describe the proposed model and its features. The followed section defines the resulting moral hazard problem. Then I will apply and evaluate the pessimistic approach as solution to the moral hazard problem. Finally, I will conclude my presentation. Every day, individuals make different choices and decisions. What is important for making the right choice is that individuals have sufficient and good information about the consequences of the different alternatives. However, the investigation of full consequences of all different alternatives is complicated and very expensive. Consequently, individuals sometimes do not possess all relevant information to take a right. This study discusses model in which an agent decides to whether or not to perform a task on behalf of the principal. A key element in the model we consider is incomplete and asymmetric information. Broadly, the model can be split up to parts. The first part deals with the model in which the principal is better informed than the agent. The agent has to decide whether or not to perform the task, but lacks information about his competence. The second part deals with the models in which the agent is better informed than the principal. In this study, we focus on the second part, where the agent takes a decision about a project on behalf of the principal. Sometimes the agent don't act in the interest of the principal. We analyze how the principal can use retention contract to discipline or retain the agent. We consider a two-period principal-agent model. There is a pool of agents, a fraction of which is qualified while the other agents are unqualified. At the beginning of phase 1, an agent is randomly drawn from the pool and he becomes the tenured. At the end of the first phase, the manager can dismiss the tenured. If he is dismissed, an agent is randomly drawn from the pool of agents and enters the office in the second phase. If the tenured is not dismissed, he will also hold the office in the second phase. We assume that a dismissed tenured in the end of the first phase has no chance of becoming a tenured in the second phase. Once the tenured has been determined for the phase 1 or 2, he designs a project. We view the value created by this project as the addition to the organization long-term value relative to the business as usual. The project value depends on two factors, the tenured competence and the state of the world. The state of the world is uniformly distributed over a fixed interval. The agent knows his competence. He observes the state of the world. Once he knows the value of the project, he can either decide to implement the project or to maintain the status quo, and in this case, the business as usual. If we want to summarize our model, in the first phase, we determine the type of tenured qualified or unqualified. We derive the state of the world. We disclose this information to the tenured, but we keep it hidden for the manager. The incumbent or the tenured will decide to implement the project or not. The manager observes the decision on the project. Then the manager perceives the project value with certain probability. The manager chooses either to keep the tenured or to replace. These figures illustrate our analysis so far. The panel A and B show the range of values of project value for which the project is implemented or not implemented by a qualified agent. getting beta equals 0 or beta bigger than 0. Beta represent the benefits drawn from holding the office. The desire to hold the office within the range of parameters for which the project wants. So in this case, the qualified agent will implement a bad project, and also if he is drawing some benefit, the range is bigger. For unqualified agent, we will see that unqualified agent will not implement a good project. And if he is drawing some benefit from the office, he will implement a bad quality project. So, if we want to summarize, according to the previous section, it shows that when the manager always keep the agent, a qualified agent more likely to implement project than a unqualified one. As a result, agent activism signals competence. In this section, we assume that the agent select the second period tenured on the basis of the first phase outcome. In line with the signaling function of the implementation decision, activism is rewarded by retention, whether an inactive agent is sent home. We show that this influences the behavior of the tuners in phase 1. Activism gives way to empire building. Accordingly, a qualified agent will decide to implement a bad quality project, but an unqualified agent will decide to cancel a good quality project. Such a deviation from the best first implementation decision is the price the manager is willing to pay for gaining information about the agent competence. This deviation should therefore not be considered as distortion. Selection on the basis of outcomes leads to the moral hazard problem. So far, we have focused on two extreme possible strategies for the manager. However, as manager occasionally observes the project value, it remains to decide about what to do in case the project is implemented, but its value remains unknown. There are two types of retention contract. The optimistic approach known as no news is good news, where the manager keeps the agent if it observes implementation but doesn't observe the project value, and the pessimistic approach known as no news is bad news, where the agent is replaced if the manager doesn't observe the project value. In this study, we will evaluate the pessimistic approach, which rejects all information till demonstrated to be true. Under this retention contract type, the manager will keep the agent in case the project has been implemented and observe its value, and its value is bigger than the threshold. It will dismiss the agent in case no project has been implemented, or the project has been implemented and its value is less than the threshold, or the project has been implemented and its value is not observable. Our main concern is the determination of the threshold value that is optimal from the manager's point of view. The choice of the threshold determines the degree to which an agent is disciplined, and also the probability that the qualified agent is selected for the second phase. The result of the pessimistic approach are shown in this figure. We show that the pessimistic approach will reduce the range of implementing a bad project. For unqualified agent, the pessimistic approach, the range of implementing a good project by an unqualified agent is extended. However, he can implement also a bad project. Finally, Agents have limited information that can be used to screen or discipline the employees of their companies. In this study, we have analyzed a sample model that shows the dilemma that results. The desire to screen agents to improve the future well-being of the organization induces agents to become overly active to show their credentials. We evaluate the pessimistic retention contract known as no news is bad news. We have demonstrated under which circumstance the selection alternative is preferred over the disciplining option. As future work, we will compare the pessimistic and optimistic retention contract. Finally, thanks a lot for your attention, and I am ready to answer your question. Thank you.
We would like to thank Dr. Zeina and Dr. Belqasem. I don't think they are available now. I think I did see Dr. Belqasem, but there might be a technical problem with him. So we will move to the next presentation, which is titled State of the Art Smart Doorbell Systems. I will share the video with you.
Hi, my name is Adnan Shaoud, and this paper, State of the Art Smart Doorbell Systems, is with my co-author Max Thyssen. We are from the University of Michigan in Dearborn, the Electrical and Computer Engineering Department. The purpose of this paper is to document the advancements in smart doorbells made in recent years, the techniques and findings of several research papers, as well as the features currently available in future doorbell in production, as are discussed, along with the potential areas of future research expansion. Currently, the market has a lot of doorbell systems that are available. They range from the Ring family by Amazon to the Nest owned by Google, along with many other less known models. These hold a variety of features that include easy to use interfaces, high resolution, live streaming, etc. In the field of research, papers have been written in several types, such as visitor recognition, partial facial, etc. Another large portion of the research is done on security and also designing doorbells that accommodate disabled people, such as people with hearing loss. The modern doorbell has evolved into a box far more advanced than in past days. Modern doorbell can be used as security devices interfaced with other systems such as external cameras, floodlights, and integrated smart lockers, even with Internet of Things as well. This field has become mainstream, with companies as large as Amazon and Google being key players. The objectives of this paper is to really come up with a new classification for these doorbells. We classify them, as I will show you later on, into 4 generations, generation 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And then we also propose a new smart doorbell system that covers some of the holes or some of the deficiencies that the current system, current state of the art, misses. So the paper also identified advances that could be realized with proper data set available to train a video CNN, such as real-time event notification and automatic video sorting. And we'll talk more about that later on. So the first table here shows the market doorbell offering. It ranges from the Ring, different models, to the Nest, to Efi, Simply Save, etc. and compares them with respect to their connection, their integration, their storage, their capabilities, motion, voice detection capabilities. All these are compared with each other. So the categories that we decided to classify the doorbells into are 4 categories. The first one, we call it generation 1, which is defined as the baseline doorbell that simply plays a noise when it's pressed. Generation 2 can have basic connectivity such as Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. The key feature of this generation would be video streaming when the button is pressed. Generation 3 would have added integrations such as Amazon Alexa or FTT, which allows greater usefulness in the IoT Internet of Things era. Generation 4, which is a futuristic generation, which is we don't have any model that fits this generation, but this is what we perceive to be the future, including all of the above in addition to advanced vision such as face and event recognition, which could be greatly utilized in many smart home Internet of Things applications. So these are the generation. This is the base, the doorbell. This is what we have nowadays is the Ring, and this is the more advanced Ring, and then this is the futuristic generation that has smart in terms of identifying important events without being pressed, even without pressing the doorbell. It will recognize the event. It will videotape the event and store it in the right classification video. The research papers, we have summarized in our paper all the most important research doorbell offering by various authors. We classified these into areas of research in recognition plus databases, notification, phone apps, web interfaces, voice communication, video communication. So we have more details about it in the paper, so you can look into more of this. The potential improvement area that we see based on our state of the art, based on the literature survey that we have done, we have possible areas of expansion, including doing a formal application of motion detection from the camera. This could include smart motion detection that only consider the motion of humans or other applicable items such as packages or wild animals. It could also be used to reduce effect of cars in motion. So you will filter out the things that are not really important. Another areas that could also be added would be to create a system that could interface with a network attached storage NAS server in order to locally save large amounts of video without impacting the performance of the local microprocessor when access videos have been recorded. And also you don't need to use the cloud to pay monthly fees for that. Finally, package arrival and protection could be improved using object detection, and instant notification could be deployed when a package arrives, or if an unidentified person walks away with the package. This could improve the ease of use in going through old videos, as it could ensure the user has an idea of which video are more important, such as a potential robbery. So this way, the system would include also sorting the videos into different categories so that you can easily navigate and find out, search the video that you want. Facial recognition is a modern research direction, but the market has been largely saturated with different options. Other types of recognition could also be explored, such as fingerprint scanning. Expanding upon the ease of use of open source options is another opportunity as well. That we have also proposed a new doorbell system in this paper, which relies on a data set that would be proposed to aid in the process of training for a system that could be implemented on a doorbell. In this, videos would be taken and saved based on motion, when motion is occurring in the context of the doorbell application. These videos can then be run through a pipeline that can determine what is happening in the video. So we could classify the video into package delivered, package taken, visitor arrived, visitor nearby, etc. So you can actually, or not important, you can actually delete that video if it's not important. A data set created for the doorbell application would allow the neural network to be readily trained and tested for use in people's home. This data set would contain videos from YouTube that come from submitted doorbell recordings to be able to recognize, to be able to classify the video in the right category. This is the proposed system. So we have a camera on the device, and then we compare what we have with what the database that we have through neural network, and then we use an edge a computer like Raspberry Pi to implement this type of system. So this is the architecture for the new proposed system that includes custom doorbell dataset, training existing network on new dataset produced training CNN, edge implementation and video sorting. To the video is sorted and notification will be sent to the homeowner based on the event that happened. So the required of the proposed system could be identified to identify the accuracy of 90% or more. The dataset should contain at least 300 videos lasting 20 to 60 seconds each. This would be satisfied if the system was to utilize transfer learning to pre-training trained on dataset. The data should contain links to each of the videos along with the ground truth table. This should be a lightweight implementation. So we use a device such as Raspberry Pi so that the cloud computing is not needed. So this way everything is done locally. This is the flow chart of how the system should work, how should the flow, the design of how the system would work. Finally, in this paper, we proposed a new classification system for small doorbell systems, and also we proposed a new smart doorbell system. This system allows a video classification network to run on edge devices to alert the homeowner of any significant events happening in front of their home without any other input, such as the button being pressed. The key aspect of this new proposal system is the creation of a doorbell dataset that can provide researchers with a set of videos that is large enough to properly train a network that is readily to be implemented on a user's doorstep. This paper also identifies advances that could be realized with the proper dataset available to train video CNN, such as real-time event notification and automatic video sorting. Thank you very much. And this is the end of the presentation.
We would like to thank Dr. Adnan for his presentation. I think also Dr. Adnan is not present with us today. Actually, we would like first to thank our speakers for presenting their presentations here at the conference. There are very interesting and various topics that were discussed today. I will not end the session because we still have two papers, I think, that are not presented yet. But I see one of the names, Dr. Muhammad Hassan. Are you a presenter with us? Dr. Muhammad, can you hear me? Dr. Muhammad Hassan? Okay, so we have presented many papers today. We had many interesting papers that are presented today. We would like to thank the presenters, and I will keep the session open till 12. So if someone who didn't present his paper has a technical problem or something like that, he can join us and present his paper. I would like to thank the audience again and the presenters again. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, the session is still on until 12 o'clock. If you have any comment, anything. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First, I would like to thank all the presenters who presented their papers today. We will end the session now. We hope that all the presenters will present their papers. So I would like to thank them again. And if they have any question, you can send to me or the chair of the conference. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.